Thank you for joining us. This is Paul Wilson.
And Chris Emke.
You're listening to the Diesel Performance Podcast. Chris, we've had a really great week here at Duramax Tuner. Tell us a little bit about it.
Busy. Very busy. Lot of guys calling in. You know, they have questions on their trucks. They want some guidance, some recommendations. Some guys are buying some parts. You know, a lot of one thing that's a little odd to me is a lot of L5Ps. A lot of L5Ps.
Well, I think that price drop really helped guys. So if you guys haven't heard, the prices come down yet again on L5P custom tuning. And I think you're right, man. I think that's made a huge impact to make it more affordable, more realistic for a lot of guys to go out there and make that investment into the custom tuning.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to compare, you know, where the L5P was so expensive in tuning over the last few years, now you're kind of getting into the same type of ballpark price-wise as what an LML would be to a certain degree. So, you know, let's compare these platforms real quick, Paul. 550 horsepower. Okay, we're not going to talk about torque right now because the 540, 550 number is pretty equal from the LML to the L5P. Would you agree?
Sure, yeah.
So you want to do an LML, you got to do a lift pump. You do a sump usually with the lift pump. I recommend you do an extra G fuel system saver. In tuning, you're about $2,500, $2,600 when it's all said and done. The L5P, we're right there. We're $2,800. You get engine tuning, trans tuning. You get the MPVI2, your credits, your unlocks. We're in the same ballpark. We're in the same arena, but the L5P doesn't just make 550 horsepower. It makes a monstrosity amount of torque to back it up.
Right.
So, you know, like you said, yes, you know, the price drop is helping, you know, and it's nice to get more of these trucks tuned. Guys are having a lot of positive things to say about it. So, you know, it's really nice to see and hear about that and see, you know, more guys starting to get in tuned with, you know, modifying the L5P stuff.
Absolutely. You know, hey, speaking of some price changes, a lot of guys in the industry are looking at having to do some sort of a price adjustment or price modification this year. Sometimes it's going down to try to have sale prices to keep their businesses afloat. Sometimes things have just gotten more expensive and prices need to go up. Well, I was looking through WC Fab's price list, and not about it going down or up, just looking for some of the new products that they've released just this year. Chris, transfer case braces, heavy duty engine mounts. Have you seen the bumper grill for the 2015 to 2019 Duramax?
Definitely slick. It's
on the L5P here at the shop. Oh, so cool.
It looks good. It looks real good.
So cool. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it in the parking lot and literally didn't know what it was. I walked all the way across the parking lot to go look at this. I call it this stupid little bumper grill, right? But it's this really nice little custom piece you can put on the truck. And some of that dress really matters. Now, a transfer case brace is a wildly functional part. We know the guys who are going to need those. But yeah, no, I just thought it was really cool because I know so often we talk about WC Fab and we talk about their single turbo kits and twin turbo kits, and we talk about their traction bars, but there's a whole slew of other products that they offer that I think you kind of have to go and look through their website and look through their social media and just kind of see what do they have.
Yeah, you know, they have a lot of little things, a lot of specialty things, and there's things that they don't necessarily mass produce either.
Yeah,
you know, and you know, you can get yourself into some financial trouble looking over there and dressing up your parts on the truck to better, you know, be a one and only type truck. So
do some Father's Day shopping, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, for yourself, for the BMW.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll mount one of those bumper grills just right over the front of my grill. It'll look good. I'll zip tie it on there. It'll be solid.
Oh God.
No, hey, but you know what? There are some cool things that are going on, and just like WC Fab releasing new products, Calibrated Power planning to release some new products this year. The long-awaited, highly anticipated Stealth Turbo for the 2.8 liter Duramax is in the works. It's real. It's real. It's happening.
I mean, this has been in the works, Paul. I mean, a couple of years back, you know, a couple of years ago, we investigated doing some upgrades and options. And, you know, back then, you know, it's if you don't succeed and all else fails, try again type thing. And we try to explore. It didn't really work to our advantage. And, you know, about a year, 6 months ago, we decided to revisit that project. And we're really excited. I think this is going to be a killer product that's going to really improve on, the factory turbocharger that is usually the limiting factor when, tuners are trying to create more power, and help keep EGTs in check and just keep efficient, cool air into the engine. The engine is an air pump essentially. So air in, air out, and the turbocharger is going to support the air in and the air out. So really excited to see that stuff. And then in other Duramax fashion, we're finally coming to the table with an L5P charger.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to talk about this on the podcast first. So you guys are hearing it before everybody else. We've kind of been teasing on our social media feeds at Duramax Tuner that we have an L5P stealth turbo that's been going through R&D probably for about a year now. Yep. We shot a Diesel Insights video, which if you guys aren't watching the Diesel Insights videos, they're awesome. It's somebody much smarter than Chris or myself. It's Nick or Tim Mahoney or one of the other guys talking about just advice or explaining something around diesel performance. So please go over to Duramax Tuner's YouTube channel and check out the Diesel Insights playlist. But anyways, we were doing a Diesel Insights around turbo islands and turbo efficiency and what does turbo efficiency mean and how do we measure it and how do we map it and all this really, really cool technical content. And we kind of poked Nick and we're like, hey, this would be a really good time to maybe talk a little bit about that L5P turbo project. So I don't want to spoil the video. It's a 3 to 5 minute video. It'll be released on the Duramax Tuner social feeds, I believe on Tuesday. So if you've been really sitting around waiting, chomping at the bit to get your hands on a stealth turbo for your L5P, I think you're going to love this video. I think this one's going to be a really big one for you.
Well, I think also it details the fact of, we weren't, L5Ps came out and then we went to market with a charger. There's a lot of engineering. There's a lot of R&D that have gone into, a little sneak preview of what this video shows. And once again, once the charger is released, it kind of gives everyone a little bit more understanding of, why great things take so long.
You got it, man. Hey, speaking of great things taking a while, Exergy Performance Roxor CP3. God, that Roxor CP3, Chris, I remember when we were first messing with the Roxor, we knew we were going to run out of pump. So we knew the high pressure pump in them just wasn't enough. And we searched and searched and searched. And when we finally reached out to Exergy, they said, hey, maybe it'll be an easy swap, right? Maybe this is something we can make really affordable and be an easy swap. No big deal. And we waited, and they're good. Like we didn't wait years for it. We waited a couple of weeks for it. It felt like forever. Now, what they found was that actually there's a high amount of modifications you need to make to a CP3 to get it to be able to bolt on and actually work on your Roxor. However, they did it. There's a bit of a price tag with it, right? So I think we're just over $3,000 for an Exergy CP3 for your Roxor, but it takes your Roxor from turbo, clutch, intercooler, tuning, water meth will only take you to 160 horsepower. So if you want that 200 number, you have to have an Exergy CP3. There is no other option.
Right.
The cool thing is I was talking with them about what is this pump capable of, and they are under the assumption that based on their testing on the bench, the pump and the injectors are probably good for 400 horse.
Wow. Think about that. Now we don't, we're not at that stage in the game to knowing what the engine's capabilities are, but you do the CP3 conversion, that little engine, 400 horsepower, that vehicle legitimately weighs nothing. When you look at that type of power output and you look at what the factory allows, that $3,000 price tag really isn't all that far-fetched. Is that every customer? No. Is every guy going to need that type of power on their Roxor? Probably not. But at least there's an avenue and an option for it, right?
That's it, man. That's it. That's really what it comes down to, is that the truck will be capable. If you do this pump upgrade, you're never going to do another one. This is the one you'll need forever, because it's more than enough to run out wherever you're going to go with your turbocharger. So I just thought that was really cool. I thought that was one of those things that I don't think a lot of people know a lot about the Roxor. I don't think people know a lot about that Roxor CP3. So we'll try to build you guys some more content and kind of explain stuff a little bit better, maybe even bring on an expert to talk about them in the future. Cool. For today, Chris, I wanted to go back and talk about what I am super excited about, what I've been working on all week, and that's our Dragy competition.
Well, I've been excited. You presented this last week when we had KJ on the show. And, Paul, you had given me a little bit of snippets, if you will, onto what to kind of expect.
Yeah.
But I was blown away with the outline. And there was still some rough, everything wasn't fine-tuned, or there wasn't everything that was, hey, this is exactly what we're doing. This is what we're running. And you and I have talked a little bit over the week. I know you had talked to Nick, and you had talked to, even like Exergy and WC Fab on this stuff. So I'm really excited to learn with the listeners what we got going on with this whole Dragy comp.
Yeah. So last week, great point, Chris. So last week we covered the classes. Now that was our rough outline. I'm going to be posting the details of our finalized outline for each one of the classes. I'm not adding in a bunch of rules. So you guys aren't going to have to read through 30 pages of rules. This is a contest for fun. There are no judges. There's nobody who's going to I can't go and verify you had all the safety equipment in your truck like you're supposed to. So I'm not going to write a rule of something I can't enforce, right? So it's pretty basic. But yeah, our classes are going to be the Dinosaur class, the Duramax Tuner Emissions Equipped class, the Stealth Turbo guys, WC Fab Big Turbo class, and the Exergy Performance Unlimited class. Every diesel vehicle will be able to fall into somewhere in those. So if you have a street-driven diesel truck, I even think we're going to squeeze the cars into the Dinosaur class. But yeah, you will be able to go out and compete. And the cool thing is, I went out in my emissions-equipped bone stock X5, and I made the first pass for our competition. I actually made that vehicle's first pass ever.
You already set the standard.
That's it. I'm currently winning the Duramax Tuner Emissions Equipped class. I am in the lead. I am the only entry. So my pitiful 10-second 8th mile run in the car is I think just a benchmark to kind of go through, and so that we could shoot an instructional video. So I think a lot of guys are going to get the Dragy. They're not really going to know how to use it and kind of fumble through it. So Justin Tyson, our producer, and I, we spent last week going through, and we actually shot a whole video front to back, top to bottom, going through how to do this and what to do and how to submit it. We're going to be posting the submission form on our Facebook group. So on the Facebook page and in the fans group today. So I'll be doing that before you guys hear this episode. So if you have a Dragy already, you can go out and start running it. We did over at Calibrated Power pick up a handful of them. We are selling them. So if you guys want one, give Chris Emke a call. He'll be able to set you up with one. They're $150. So let us know. They literally should be ready to ship any day now. So yeah, so I'm excited, man. You guys can buy a Dragy. You can buy it from anybody, right? I don't care where you get it from. Yes, we do have them in stock ready to ship. So if you need one, Chris, I'm sure you're happy to help them out. But other than that, get a Dragy. And the other cool thing about them, and I didn't really realize this when we started the contest, Chris, we're not like doing this to sell Dragys, right? We wanted to make sure that we had some to help guys out, but selling Dragys isn't going to make or break our year at Duramax Tuner.
But I also think, the start of 2020 has been a little rough, and it's not just been, local. It's been a nationwide thing. And I think this is something that it brings the community together, and it's being creative in other ways, because there's certain drag strips out by us that aren't open yet, but then there are others that are. And there's guys in certain parts of the country where they don't have drag strips, period.
Yeah.
So, this is a way to just kind of bring the community together on a national level and, be creative about it.
Absolutely. And one of the things, I'm glad you brought that up, Chris, because one of the things I've already talked to, and our sponsors even brought up with me, is are we encouraging people to be reckless on the street? Because we cannot do that. We cannot encourage you to be reckless and endanger yourself or others, right? That would be stupid. We wouldn't do that. I can't force you to only run at the track. Again, I have no way to enforce it. I have no way to promise that you were at a track, right? So if you're going to run on the street, we are allowing street runs on closed or private roads. Right. You are going to video your runs, or we're asking you guys to video your runs. So if you're on a closed or a private road, great. I'm going to trust that all of our listeners and all of our participants know how to follow the rules. I will say there are benefits and highlights and lowlights to running your vehicle on the street versus a track, right? So let's just call out the obvious one. It's really easy to go find a road or a street that you could just run your truck down for an 8th mile pass. I don't think many people would be hard-pressed to find an empty road to go drive on. So it's really easy to find. but you also have much, much higher levels of risk when you're running your truck at full speed on the street. You could crash, you could kill somebody, you could get a ticket, you could get your vehicle impounded. We don't want to see any of that crap happen, right?
No, absolutely
Now,
not.
Chris, you have quite a bit of track experience under your belt. Walk our listeners through what's the good, what's the bad about going to a track to go make your run.
Well, I mean, the good is you go as fast as you want, and you're not going to be ticketed, right?
Yep.
You don't have to worry about pedestrians. You don't have to worry about other cars. You don't have to, coming out in front of you. You don't have to worry about anything other than at the track. You don't have to worry about the tree. You're running for yourself in this contest. So it's not even about, who's the better driver in terms of reaction time. So
Right.
I don't think that there's anything bad that you can possibly say about doing this at the track. If you have high horsepower trucks, the track's probably going to be a little bit better prepped. So that's another bonus. But, the benefit is, being safe, not putting yourself or putting harm in others, potentially. So, I mean, that's the value. At the same time, myself, couple buddies, we like to have fun on the streets sometimes, once here, once there, but we also live in a rural area where some back roads, some farm roads, you can see very far ahead of you, and there's no crossroads, no nothing like that to where there would be potential danger, right? But yeah, guys, like Paul said, you got to be careful with this stuff. You got to think about what you're doing before you do it. This isn't one of those things where we want you in traffic and you start flat-footing the truck and driving the truck like a complete maniac and, potentially putting, fear or, causing harm to someone who doesn't deserve that. We don't need that right now of anything.
That's right. Also, by the way, the track offers, in a very general sense, the track will offer you better times. You'll be able to run faster at the track because it's prepped, because it's smooth, because it's flat. Like, there's a lot of benefits. There's also a lot of consistency. So if you're dialing in your truck, you're getting the same surface over and over and over. Guys talk about left lane, right lane, like, the track side lane, tower side lane. Guess what? All of it's going to be way more consistent than driving down, John Adams Highway, right? Like, it's going to be better. Also, one of my big advantages of going to the track and racing is getting help from other racers. There's, like, we talk about community, we talk about camaraderie. Well, guess what? It's not just diesel guys who can help you. There's a lot of guys at the track who are going to have just a ton of racing experience. And that's one of those places there's no substitute for that, right? Like, learning from somebody else's experience is tough, but it's there. It's an opportunity. So I think there's a lot of benefits to running at the track. I will say time frame of the competition, just to kind of like be real clear with everyone. I'm going to post our entry form today. The competition officially starts July 1st, runs all the way through the month. So we're going to do this for the whole month of July. I want to give as much time for guys to hear our episode, get a Dragy, and go out and run, right? Like, I understand that there's some lag time. So I want to give you guys as much time as possible. We'll be doing updates. So every week, we'll go through and we'll look at some of our submissions. We'll look and see who's at the top of the board, who's currently leading the contest. And then at the end, hey, we'll let everybody know who wins the first Friday after July ends, which will end up being August 7th. So
man, you're going to be really busy the next few weeks.
Yeah. I figure, why not, right? What else do we have going on? He said.
So with a month of a contest here, we're gonna have to start, getting Dragy squared away. That way you're not getting the Dragy first, second week into July, and then having that run. You know what I'm saying? And the delay in that. So guys that want to be on the upper hand here, get yourself a Dragy sooner than later.
That's right, man. Get one now and go out and start making test hits. You don't want to submit a hit on July 2nd and then figure out, on July 25th, oh shit, I could do way better. Which, by the way, I've thought about this. I don't care if you submit multiple times. I'll take your highest run. So if you hit the entry form on July 2nd, great. I'll look at those numbers. We'll put those numbers in. The winner will be picked at the end of the month. I'm not going to you can enter as many times as you want. Please don't enter a run every day. Please don't enter 30 runs. Please try to narrow it down, but get one in there early, man. Be on the leaderboards. Be at the top of the list.
I hope someone sends you a time a day.
Chris, I'm blocking you from the form. Guys, I've already talked to a whole lot of our coworkers, guys who just work at Duramax Tuner. Everybody here is excited to go get into this contest. Everybody here is excited to go run. We really, really hope you guys take the time, go out and run. One of the things I was going to say earlier about the Dragy, if there's 3 of you and you guys all want to use the same Dragy, that's fine. You actually can load multiple vehicles in a single account. It's really easy to do. Multiple phones can link to the same Dragy. It's really easy to do. Again, we just want to see as much participation as possible. So if you buy a Dragy and you got, your dad's got a truck and he wants to enter the contest too, let's do it, man. Get him out there, make a pass, have some fun with it. And that's really what our message is for today, guys. I know it's a little bit shorter of an episode than usual. We got a few other kind of logistics thing getting ready for next week's episode, but we didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So we just thought we'd put these updates together, kind of get you guys some more details out there. And I'm really excited for next week's episode. We're going to have on an awesome guest. We're going to talk a ton about drag racing.
Hell yeah. I'm excited.
Cool, man. Well, for today, this has been Paul Wilson.
And Chris Emke.
Thanks for listening.
Listen, bitch, you don't want me doing your taxes, all right? Like, stay in your lane.